Is there a presentation mode? Will the virtuous Sangha, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung kính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát từ ly khổ đắc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sananto Suche Doye Ula Hodi San Miao Samputo Sie. Nam mô Tạc Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya A La Ha Đế Tam Miêu Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma, 100,000 million aeons, is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Qingliang, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Left-Home people, and all good new advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨 精良大师师父上人，各位出家人，各位上知识，阿弥陀佛。Hello everyone, today is the 9th of October 2021, nearing the end of the year already. We are here to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. Which slide are we on? Do you know? 283. That many already? Good Lord. Okay, 283 it is. Okay, continuing with the saga. Text. If there is no comprehension of principles and specifics, conduct is not true.
不提理事，行义非真。
Conduct. Okay? This is why we're doing this, is to encourage you, to urge you to do the right things. Conduct is no more than just doing the right things, doing things that are beneficial for you. Okay? The Buddhist teaching is in order to convince you, to get you to do, to benefit yourself. It's not about knowing. Okay? Don't be turned off by this thing. I don't understand this, and it's too abstract, too of truths and so forth. Even all this abstraction here, okay, is to help you as you go through this process of reciting the Buddha's name, reciting your mantras, meditating, walking, sitting, sleeping, standing, whatever, okay, you will eventually understand the principles, okay? Principles are this big picture, principles about the big picture, principles about relationships. Okay? Big picture is simply how things are put together, why things are there. And specifics is that these particular things that, what? The only thing that matters is the things that bother you. It's not about theory. Specific, the Master Jing Liang would like to tell you specific is about manifestation of the theory behind it. Like you have mathematical theory, applied math theory, and then you apply that theory and you come up with a TV set by mapping all those things onto a flat surface. Yes? Okay? Those are specifics. How you apply the theory and create a product out of all these theorems, mathematical theorems. Thank you very much. You see that? So the mathematical theory is a principle, and the specific is how you apply the principle, okay, to a particular instance, how you create a TV set from these mathematical knowledge, from these mathematical principles. Is that clear? That's what the big picture is. But as far as you are concerned, okay, well, as far as your conduct is concerned, is that thing right there that bothers you, the thing right there, the specific things that stop you, that are harming you right now. This is what Buddhism is about, okay? It's not meant for you to write a paper, publish in a journal and so forth. That's for the scholars. There's a room for that. But for us, in order for you to have true wisdom, you need to look at your own specific things that obstruct you, that bother you, that's harming you, that's confusing you. Okay? And that's why we're doing this. All right. Any question? If you understand the principles, cannot be true. Okay. So they say, so this conduct here, whatever you do, will help you gain a deeper understanding of the principles, the reason that things are happening, and the specific things that you observe. Can you see that? That's what Buddhism is about. This is why we're discussing the Flower Adornment Sutra. If you discuss the sutra, and by the end of the sutra, you walk and say, oh, this is such wonderful, such advanced principles, and such beautiful things that it's talk about it, then you basically didn't get much out of it. Okay? 285. Therefore, the Tushita verse says, beings do not understand true and actual Dharma, and so all Buddhas appear in the world.
故刀率纪曰：不了真实法，诸佛故心是。
All right, 286. I'm flying through this because we have a lot to cover. Okay, so if you want me to slow down, I say, hey, slow down, please. I have a question for you. Okay, so Tushita verse. Why Tushita verse? Because Tushita heaven is the fourth heaven in the desire realm where the next Buddha, the incoming Buddha, okay? Venerable Maitreya is waiting to become a Buddha. He's waiting at the Tushita heaven, okay? So that's why in the Tushita heaven he says, Maitreya is coming. and other Buddhas before him and other Buddhas after him? It's because for the sole purpose of helping us understand the true and actual Dharma. Okay? True is that it's only one truth. If you know this truth here, it is the ultimate truth. Okay? Nothing more true than this truth. And actual Dharma is that this truth here is what confronts you is the actual happening. The true is the principle behind. Okay. 287. This is also of two kinds. One manifesting a Dharma of the non-obstruction of specifics and principle.
此义二种，一显示理无碍法。
All right, 288. Okay. There are two kinds here. One is to manifest the Dharma, non-obstruction, specifics and principles. Okay, that's why that's the reason behind this. And number two, manifesting the Dharma, the non-obstruction of specifics and specifics, exactly as discussed in the apportionment of meanings and principles.
二显示是无碍法，并如一分其说。
Okay, so when you talk about non-obstructions, you have non-obstructions of specifics and principles, of the observation versus the theory behind it, or the non-obstruction of the actual instances among themselves. Okay, and will be discussed in apportionment of meanings and principles later. Okay, Wei Mountain.
Master, can you explain specifics again?
Come again?
Can you explain specifics again?
The what again?
Specifics.
Specifics is the particular manifestation. Specifics, for example, is the theory, for example, is you need to eat, okay, to provide nutrients to your body. That's the principle. Specific is that you ate Vietnamese food at the temple today. Okay? So there's a theory and there is the actual example of their theory manifesting itself. Okay? As I talked about. Okay? So the world, this is why the Buddhism, the Buddhist wisdom is very profound, because the Buddha is so wise that we can see the specifics. You see, like a leopard eating an antelope, chasing after an antelope and eating it, devouring it. All right? That's specific instance, what we can observe. But the Buddha is so wise, he says, there's a reason for this happening. So it takes a lot of wisdom before you see the principles. Specifics is what you can observe. Anyone can observe that. But the principle is what wise people can use to explain to you. Does it help? Go ahead, Wei Mountain.
So just for example, it'd be like, okay, like my brother punched me, right? And then, so that'd be like specific, and like the principle underlying it would be like cause and effect or something like that?
That's it.
Like,
very good. Is there a question? Just kidding. Anyone else? Yes, Green.
I didn't catch how you said these like specific and the principle is something about like our specific problems. Like I didn't catch the correlation between understanding the specifics and the principle, and then how we should. It seems like you say we should use our problems, use those for our problems.
Use those for what?
Like to solve our problems.
If you understand, if you observe, what you observe is called specific. You observe someone being punched. That's a specific moment in time. Yes? That's a specific happening. But you use the principles to explain why it happened. And it requires wisdom to be able to explain why. We can only see specifics. Okay? So what the scientists do is they observe these data points, these happenings. Okay? On day 1, this thing happened. Day 2, that thing happened. All these instances, these manifestations, then they combine them together, and they come up with a graph, a chart to explain why. Okay, so the theory is what is the explanation behind all these happenings. All right, and the Buddha's theory is so wise that he can explain a theory that links every single thing you observe, meaning cause and effect. Okay, anything and everything can be explained by cause and effect. And layers upon layers upon layers of cause and effects. And Buddha sees that. We cannot. So far, so good? Yes, sir. Agree.
So understanding cause and effect is wisdom. But I was kind of referring to the first thing you said on a couple slides back when you were saying that something about our specific problems. So we should try to use these to focus on our problems, or I just didn't catch the correlation to when you mentioned about it's like we're doing this for our problems.
You cross your legs and the legs hurt. That's a specific moment in time. Okay? And you use that. Okay? The Buddha says, if you were alive, he said, "Oh, you're hurting right there at the knee." Okay, there's a reason for that. Okay, so that's the theory behind it. Your hurting is a particular manifestation only. Okay, but there's a reason why. So that's the principle behind it. Okay? And that's why by confronting your problems, by confronting your pain, by looking at your own obstructions, okay, you will be able to understand the principle behind it. That's why looking at your obstructions, your problems, will help you unfold your wisdom. Does it make sense now? The wisdom is the understanding of the principles behind it. Yes, go ahead, Omar.
A Di Đà Phật, con thấy các vật ở trên thế gian này là sự, cái luận hình tướng nào đó. Thì cái lý là hổm lại mình nói là cái lý không, cái là không tự tướng đó. Hổm thầy nói dependent đó, nó không có tự independent mà nó phải nhờ một cái khác để thành một cái gì đó. Thì theo khoa học thì điện tử, phân tử, neutron gì ở trong đó thì nó thành một cái form, một cái hình tướng. Thì chẳng hạn mà mình nói sự vô ngại là sao? Tức là bây giờ muối nó cũng là một cái hạt nhỏ của những cái điện tử gì đó thành cái muối. Rồi đường cũng vậy, bột cũng vậy. Rồi tất cả dầu gì cũng vậy. Mà chúng ta có thể sự vô ngại, chúng ta mix nó lại làm thành cái bánh. Nó không còn muối, không còn đường, thấy rõ mà nó mix với nhau. Lúc đó là sự vô ngại. Từ cái lý không đó mà nó các nào, mấy cái món đó cái nào cũng có cái lý không hết. Mà nó nhập với nhau được là đi vô ngại, là bây giờ thành cái bánh là mà ăn không ai thấy muối đâu, đường đâu hết. Mà nó nhập với nhau nó vô ngại.
Yeah. It's the principle. Oh, go ahead. I don't think she can translate it.
So, Master, so all the things that we can observe, it has the form, and then there's a principle behind it, like all of the things, they don't exist independently. So it means like they have to depend on each other. So for example, we have the molecule, and then like, sorry, I don't really know the term of this one, phân tử, nguyên tử.
Những cái atom, những cái proton, neutron nữa.
Protons.
There's like the atoms, the protons, and stuff like that. It has
And
its
Star
own
Trek.
form. And then when we talk about sự vô ngại, like the principle and principle are not obstruct, the specific and specifics are not obstruct each other. So meaning that, for example, each thing has its own form. For example, the salt, sugar, or flour, for example, it has its own form. But then when you mix them together to bake a cookie, for example, they are not independent anymore. Now they all mix together and form a new things like cookie. So that's why we say like the specific and specifics are not obstruct each other.
Okay, very good. That's correct. Let me give you a specific example. May I? Go ahead, wait one question first, and I explain to you what it really means.
So let's say I have a problem, like my head hurts or something like that. Should I try to solve the problem with another specific, like take a Tylenol, or like maybe cross my legs, something like that? Or should I like try to look deeper and try to find the principle of it, and then like the problem from the principle? Like maybe it's because of the karmas I've been creating from doing this or something, and try to cut it off right there.
You got it. So either way, whatever works for you at the moment. So sometimes you use one, sometimes you use the other. Okay? You don't always have to have one way of solving problems. But I give an example of the specifics not obstructing specifics. Okay? Right now, I'm talking Dharma to you. You all sit there and listen. Okay? That's one specific. Yes? Well, now, typically, when you come to the temple and you listen to the Dharma, okay, you that's a very, very big deal. So therefore, you don't allow kids to scream in the Buddha hall. Therefore, that my lecturing, my speaking Dharma is actually obstructing these kids from screaming. So that Dharma has a lot of obstructions, doesn't it? You see? Can you see that specific Dharma you're practicing? Okay? There's obstructions. Just because the Master is speaking Dharma, therefore, the kids cannot be themselves. So my speaking Dharma obstructs the kids from being themselves. Or obstructs an old lady from being kind to a kid. Because it's not respectful to the Dharma. How can you get a kid distract you? You see that? So that Dharma that we're practicing right now allows me to speak Dharma at the same time, learn not to get bothered by screaming kids. It's a work in progress, okay? And tolerate him bothering other of my disciples as well. Okay? So we're all trying to practice non-obstructions on so many layers. Is that clear? It's right there. That's why you see immediately the kind of wisdom that you're acquiring, the kind of Dharma you're practicing. Does it help? Oh no, he's going to beat on my drums too. You see that? But I'm not going to be obstructed by that. So far, so good? It's not about theory. You listen to this, and I said, does it bother you? Does the screaming bother you? You know, so the proof is in the pudding. Let him scream until he passes out and see who moves first, who's afflicted first. Because his screaming does not obstruct our investigation of Flower and Dorman Sutra, right? I'm calm. Next, 291. I challenge you, boy, to afflict me. 9. In order to reveal the causal nature, that is, the previous causes, fruit, principle, and specifics, all exist because of the nature of living beings.
9. 开因性者，为上因果理事，皆由众生性有。
Okay, 292. To reveal the causal nature, the cause and effect is what drives all these things that bother us. Okay? The previous causes, meaning that I used to be a naughty boy too. Okay? And today what's happening to me is a fruit of that all my naughtiness in the past is catching up to me. And now I'm a Dharma master being bothered by a stupid boy. Okay? And that's the principle behind it. It's called retribution, karmic retribution. Okay? And it comes in the form of that boy right there. Specifically. See that? This is what it's about. You see, now he's having a good time at my expense. You see that? So, what principle is it? We all get what we deserve. Okay? And all this chaos, all these messes, all these intermingled things here is because living beings are naughty. They are obstructing each other, okay? They are making each other's pay. Next, 293. If the nature were not gold or jade, although worked, it could not become a precious vessel.
若性非金玉，虽浊不成宝器。
294. Okay? So the reason is that if the nature is not precious itself, like gold or jade, okay, then no matter how much work you work on it, let's say, then you cannot turn sand into something of value, something precious. All right? 295. Inasmuch as living beings comprise the virtues of nature in the substance, they take the sea of wisdom as their source.
良以众生包性德而为体，依智海以为源。
Yeah, I know what you mean. You know what I mean. So, in order to try to understand what he's trying to talk about, Master YongHua gave us some comments. Thank you, Master. Okay? He says, hidden within living beings are the virtue of nature, many as Ganges River sands. Okay? This is him. Okay? as well as the inherently enlightened wisdom of a Buddha. They are concealed inside, however, and so living beings are said to include those virtues of nature in their substance. Clear, right? You don't get it? Neither can I. So those virtues originate from the sea of wisdom. How eloquently put. Let's move on. 297 is only due to the transformations of marks that the substance has differences. And when emotion is produced, there is severance from wisdom.
但像变体书，情深至格。
298. Marks can change, can be transformed. Whatever you observe will evolve. For example, what's an example? Whatever you observe will change. Your looks. You get older, your hair turns white, and you lose it. Okay? That's it. The way it is. So, it's because the substance has differences. And when emotion is produced, there's severance from wisdom. Okay? So behind each mark, there's a substance that is the foundation of the thing you observe, and those foundations differ. Okay, for example, the Chinese have different foundations. The Caucasian have different foundations, different substances, if you will. Okay, that's why you will see differences in skin colors, in hair colors, in eye colors, in height, and so forth. All right. Furthermore, when emotion is produced, there's severance from wisdom. Okay, this is very important. It says that if you get emotional, like you get exasperated by a kid, okay, you lose your wisdom. You become stupid. So you let a kid make you stupid, and you blame the kid. Why do you make noise? It makes noise because the kid's a substance. He's a kid. He's going to make noises. You see that? But we wiser, aren't we? We don't. Go away. You know what I mean? So you see, the kids has a kid substance. We adults have adult substances. But we cannot afford to get emotional about the kids. Because then we're not cool anymore. What happened? There's no more slide number. Now they're caused by, to know the mind unites with the substance. Huh? What kind of English is this? Now they're caused to know that the mind, it should be a that somewhere, the mind unites with the substance. When one penetrates to the root, emotion is gone. He therefore speaks this sutra in order to reveal it.
今令知心合体，达本情王，故谈思经，以为显示。
Okay, add the that, please. Now they're caused to know that the mind unites with the substance. Well, now he laughs. So from one moment he's do this heavy breathing, the next moment he laughs. Okay. That the mind unites with the substance. Okay. Next. What can we say? Oh, he has weirdos here. Okay. The true mind unites with the substance. Okay? You find out. The true mind is something you don't understand. The mind here refers to something you don't get it yet. Okay, your true mind. Okay, actually, it's united to the substance. Okay, so Master YongHua explained. You have false thinking is due to your attachments. So when you relinquish your attachments, false thoughts naturally do not arise. You see, with the non-production of false thoughts, our true and actual wisdom manifests. Manifest is without the S. Okay, manifest is plural. True and actual wisdom manifest. That's fine. Okay, don't change. Okay. Now, for those of us who are laughing and crying at the same time, you should know that your laughing and your crying is from your attachments. Okay? So you have attachment. That's why you're hurting. Your pain originate from your attachments. Okay? So we know which attachments to undo, the pain will go away. So far, so good? And so with the non-production of false thought, you have no more false thoughts, then your true wisdom comes to the fore. What happens is that your false thoughts are covering up your true thoughts, your true wisdom. Okay? So as long as you have attachments, your true wisdom will be covered up. So far, so good? And on 201, 301, and Master YongHua says, see, this is why you listen to the sages. They give you these clues. Okay? He says that, you cannot attain the true, which is merits alone. Must also apply efforts to the utmost. This is a gift for us. You know what it means? Okay? For example, you come to the temple and you help cook the food. Do the work of the temple. That is a lot of merits. Yes, a lot of work. You're creating a lot of blessings. Merits equates blessings. You help out, you contribute, you have a lot of blessings. Yes? Okay? But it will not help you become enlightened. Cannot help you remove your confusion by itself. Okay? What does it take? You must apply efforts. Meaning what? Work hard. You must, what's another word for work hard? Struggle. Struggle. Like you have this nightmare in front of you. And when you struggle to contain your cool. See? And as long as you struggle, one of these days, your wisdom will come to the fore, just like that. You're not willing to struggle, not much is going to happen. You have this treasure. You have this huge amount of bitcoins, cryptocurrencies, excuse me. Somehow recently I'm obsessed with cryptocurrency. I don't know why. Okay, I will understand. I'll figure it out one of these days. But since last night, I started thinking about cryptocurrencies. So funny, huh? Only last night. Before that, I said, cryptocurrencies, nah. But somehow, now I'm obsessed with cryptocurrencies. I told myself, I'm going to learn about cryptocurrencies. Okay? So, because you have all these matters like cryptocurrencies, okay? It's all there, okay? And you cannot access it, okay? Unless you have to make the efforts. In particular, in Buddhism, it's not just cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is not no big deal to us, but it's your wisdom. That is the price. And in order for you to unfold your wisdom, are you paying attention? You have to work hard. You cannot figure out ways to have it easy and have others work hard for you, like the husbands. Or your boss. You understand? You want wisdom, you have to apply efforts. No one else can do it for you. And this is the thing. Where was I again? Okay? So only Master YongHua is the monk who would talk to us like this. The rest of them, they tell you, oh, you're wonderful, I'm wonderful, we're all wonderful, let's have a good time. Okay? We deserve to be successful. We're so special. No, Master YongHua says, you may have a lot of blessing, you may be very special, but you have no wisdom unless you work hard. And I translate for you what working hard means. You struggle. The Chinese are way too abstract. Okay? Apply efforts. Work hard. 努力. Okay? Whatever the Chinese is, apply efforts. Okay? It's a 努力. Okay? Apply efforts. Okay? It's still not enough. I'm making the effort. But are you struggling? If you make the efforts, then it takes a lot longer than you struggle. See? That's the difference between us and the Chinese. The Chinese apply efforts, we struggle. Boys and girls, you hear me? You have to struggle. What does struggle mean? There's a hurt. Somewhere. You have to suffer. You cannot say, why can't I become enlightened without suffering? Because it's not possible. Is that clear? And that's a problem. This is why men they get higher levels because they're willing to suffer more than women. Women are too smart. Woman says, my husband will take care of it for me. That's why the husband gets all the wisdom. And you see, you are so sexist because it applies both ways. If men are not willing to work hard, it's a woman. It's the wife who gets the wisdom. Does it make sense? Okay? So it's a secret. Somehow, I don't know what happened, but to me it's as plain as day, okay? Light, and yet my generation, we're afraid to make you struggle. I don't get it. Because as if we're afraid you're going to run away because you struggle. You stick around long enough, you will have to struggle because it's very difficult. Ask all those old timers. It gets harder and harder and harder, not easier at all. Case in point. Okay? Isn't it beautiful? I mean, there's so many, the women who are so smart, I got to figure out, master will suffer for me, my husband will suffer for me, and so forth, and, so forth. So I don't have to anymore. And guess what? Huh? We become enlightened, and they don't. Okay? When one penetrates the root, emotion is gone. Okay? So emotion cannot coexist with wisdom as long as you're in emotional state. Okay? Your wisdom is not there. What does it mean? Does it mean that wise people cannot be emotional? I'm asking you. This is important. Okay, and I don't want to come across wrong, but let's have the women give a chance. When you have emotions, does it mean you have no wisdom? So it's between one kid screaming and one man breathing heavily. I'm struggling to concentrate, okay? And you think it's bad. I remember when I first started in the Lu Mountain Temple doing a Chanchi. There's this lady here, his name is Mireya. She would sit for about 40 minutes and she started screaming and crying like as if someone is killing her, and torturing her. Yeah. So we told her, why don't you unbuckle? And she says, no, I'm enjoying my crying. It's a good release. Are we videotaping this? Wei Mountain has a question.
Master, I think that this is my experience. So if I get emotional, when I'm in that state, I would make really bad decisions. But as I calm down and I release that emotional state, and I come to a place more of equanimity, I make much better decisions. But I don't know if I could make that good of a decision when I reach the place of equanimity if I didn't have that initial emotion. I'm just not sure about that because somewhere they said bodhi is affliction, affliction is bodhi. So I just in that way, like I'm not sure if I could have come to the right realization and solution to a problem I would have had if I didn't have the emotional initial emotional reaction, which I calmed down from. Do you know what I mean?
What did you say? Sorry, there's some competition here locally. My students are a lot more cruel than I realized. They have no compassion whatsoever. Yeah. They see others suffer and struggle, and they have no compassion whatsoever. I don't know how they can find it in the heart to laugh. Anyway, what was the question again, sir?
So when I have an emotion, I know that when I'm in the emotional state, I won't be able to come up with a good solution to the problem I'm having at that time, right? But when I calm down from the emotional state and I I come to a place of more equanimity, I can make a good decision from there. But I'm not sure I could have made the same decision to the problem if I didn't have the initial emotional upheaval. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense to me. Repeat it again. Okay. It's going to work out, I promise you. Yeah. There you go. You see, you find a way to survive, that's all. I had to go through that myself, believe it or not. A cool dude like me, I was miserable privately. Yeah, we all have to do it, but behind closed doors. Okay. The Buddha says, when you go back to see your own nature, okay, in that nature right there, you're able to see your Buddha nature, all the love, all the lust, all the anger, all the greed, all emotions disappear. There's nothing there. You don't have to do a thing. All you have to do is go back to the source. Go back to your root. And it will all be gone. You'll be free. You don't need to be like a doctor to cut off a bad limb. You don't need to be like killing a demon. Huh? You don't need to cut off your arm. Okay? All emotions will be gone. Everything that bothers you will be gone. That's when you're able to embrace the demons. You embrace your enemies and your wife in a true way. You see, ladies, the men never notice the word in a true way. They say, He therefore speaks his sutra in order to reveal us. He's teaching us how to go back to the root. Okay, he says, go back to the root, the emotion is gone. And don't think it's that simple. There's a process of doing that. That's why the patriarchs have to appear in the world to show us how to do it. That's why we must be grateful to people like Master YongHua says, this is how you do it. You should know that you must create merits. There's no shortcuts. Merits meaning that you must have some kind of blessings, must be wealthy in a way, in a Buddhist way, not in a worldly way. You must have Buddhist merits, okay? Whatever that is, okay? So that merits alone is not enough. So the first thing you have must have merits. And after merits, because of the merits you have, you be given a chance to apply efforts. You see, please pay attention. This is how the Chinese explain it to their own. Okay? Okay? They said, actually it means one. Let me interpret it for you. Number one, create a lot of merits. Number two, apply efforts. Is that clear? That's how the Chinese, the Asians talk it like that. But for us Westerners, we need to say 1 and 2. It's a two-step. Okay? It's two-stage process. You cannot not do 2 before 1. You cannot say, I'm going to apply efforts. If you apply efforts without blessings, you will fail. You will quit. It's too hard for you. You give up. You say, this doesn't make sense. But if you have the blessings, the merits, you become a glutton for punishment. You say, is that all? Can I struggle more and more and more and more? And one day, boom! Like this morning, mistress said. Okay? The mister somehow, I said and something happened to me. And he said, grasshopper, very good, very good. And you see that over and over again. I've been witnessing this for 15 years. You be the smartest person, be the richest person on earth, when you say, I'm here, I'm special. Okay? You're special in your world, you're not special in Buddha's world. All right? Is that clear? So that's why he speaks in order to reveal this. And it takes Master YongHua, a great patriarch, to tell us how it happens. Okay? Because the scriptures, you look at all the scriptures, look at the scholars, they will tell you, you must penetrate to the root. At that point in time, emotion is gone. Okay? And that's how Master YongHua to explain it to us, interpret this to us. Okay? You must create merits, a lot of merits. And then you must apply efforts. Then that's how you get to the root. Questions? Comments? Do you understand? Yes, go ahead, old monk.
A Di Đà Phật. Con vô chùa này, thầy cũng có dạy con cái đó, và con quan sát con thấy rất là đúng. Là con cũng có nói với một số người Phật tử ở phương Tây hay là ở đây đó, từng trẻ tới chùa đó, quý vị tới chùa học Phật Pháp, đừng có cái khái niệm mà học như người ta học yoga. Học 1-2 thế, 1-2 bài chú hay là 4-2 thủ nhãn rồi về mà ngồi mài tới tét cái quần jean không được cái gì, không có phước thì sao làm. Vậy con quan sát con thấy và cái vị này trong chùa của mình đó, con có hỏi ý kiến thì người ta cho có quyền nói. Vậy cá nhân họ là khi mà ông Đại Hàn qua làm 1000 cái tượng Phật ở Lư Sơn Tự đó, nó kéo dài 1 tháng. Mà đúng là mùa hè rất là nóng ở LA. Thì ông này, ông theo ông Đại Hàn, ông giúp rất là cực lực mà hết mình luôn. trời nóng như vậy, giờ tạm khái là ổng mang rác về chùa, về nhà ổng đổ, chứ chùa không đủ thùng để chứa nữa. Thì con quan sát con thấy ổng ngồi có nửa tiếng thôi, không bao giờ quá nửa tiếng kiết già đó. Thì sau 1 tháng mà cái project đó xong, ổng lên 2 tiếng đồng hồ. Trước mắt mình chứ không phải nói chuyện hồi xưa đâu. Và một vị khác lên 6 tiếng. Thì phải do cái phước không? Xin hết.
Master, I've been listening to your teaching, and then through my observation, I found out that these things are very true. So there, I want to give you one example. I noticed there's so whenever the Westerner people come to our temple, I told them, like, when you come to the temple, don't have the mindset of other people that go to regular school or you learn yoga or other subject. Like, you thought like, okay, I learned one form, I learned one mantra, and then I can go home and then I just grind it out day after day. No, if you do it like that, you won't go anywhere further. So there is one example that when Mr. Cha came to our temple to install 1,000 Buddha statue at Lu Mountain, back then it was in the summer, and then for 1 month, this person helped Mr. Cha, and then he helped out a lot. And you know what? I noticed that before the project, he could only sit for 30 minutes in full lotus. But after the project done, he was able to sit for 2 hours. So that is the proof right there that you need blessing.
And another person sat for 6 hours.
And another person sat for six hours.
All right, very good. Question from Korea.
아까 드럼을 친 아이에 대한 질문인데요. 그 드럼을 친 아이가 저희 업에 의한 것인데, 그러면 그 드럼을 친 아이는 업을 다시 짓는 것입니까?
Master, I have a question about the kids who hit the drum. So the kids hit the drum because of our retribution. That doesn't mean that the kids also make karma.
And he should go to the hells. We all get what we deserve. So who has the last laugh at the temple? I always have last laugh. Yes, and that's why it's very wise for most temples to avoid doing that. Okay, meaning that there's a reason why in the Buddha halls and most temples they keep it very serene, very respectful, very adorned, and don't allow kids to run around and cause troubles. Okay, it's very wise because kids will do kid stuff, will do naughty stuff. That's why they're kids. So you allow them into the temples, and then they're gonna do kid stuff. That's the way it is. So I used to observe that the new parents bring the kids to the Buddha halls at Lu Mountain Temple, and they all ran scared because they're afraid the kids were screaming and eating and dropping, food on the floor and so forth. And yes, when the kids do that, they're creating serious offenses. They are throwing trash on the Buddha hall, on the floor. That's a very serious offense. Okay, and that's it makes sense for the temples not to allow that to happen. I endorse it. Okay, it's very wise. Our temple is different. It's because I'm not afraid that the kids will create offenses. There's a trade-off. If you don't allow the kids to create offenses, then they cannot come to the Buddha hall. So in our case, we let the kids create offenses, create a lot of problems, make a lot of noises, so that they go to the house. And after they go to the house, they have the seats, because as they are doing this, they're still listening. The ears are picking up the Dharma. Okay? They don't need to understand. You see, remember, this Dharma here is not easily understood. It's very difficult for us to understand. Okay? And yet we still listen to it, because in the future, these seats that were formed by you listening to the sound of the Dharma, okay, they will sprout and help you become enlightened. Same thing's happening to this beautiful kid. Okay? Even though he's creating mischiefs, but because he's here, the sound of Dharma is planting seeds, the same seeds as yours, all of you. So he also has a chance to become enlightened just like you. So yes, there's a price for him for that to happen, meaning that if he wants good seeds, he has to be here. In order to be here, he has to create offenses. Okay? So that's why we're slightly different. Okay? Yeah. So let me ask you first. If you knew this were the case, would you be willing to let a kid come to your Buddha hall and let him create offenses like this or not? Is it worth it to you? Let me give you the answer. The Chinese has a saying. He says that if I'm able to listen to the Dharma once in the morning, then I gladly go down to the house in the evening. No, yeah, correct me, Chinese people. Yeah, that used to be orange until the naughty kid took the orange away.
Master, I think you're referring to 朝闻道夕死可以, which is hearing the way in the morning. I can die in the evening, so it's not going to the hell in the evening, it's die in the evening, which is a big difference.
It's because this Chinese person here, in my humble opinion, listen to low-level Dharma.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The Dharma says, if you listen to the true Buddha Dharma once, you won't go to the hells for kalpas. It will be well worth it.
Yeah, that was a confusion.
So I combine the two.
Yeah, that was a confusion.
So she's right.
Thing.
Yeah, she's right. She's right in that, yes, I hear the Dharma in the morning. I don't mind if then this life has been well worth it. Okay? If I hear the Dharma in the morning, then even if I die in the evening, my life has not been in vain. That's true. That's the Chinese teaching. That's correct. But I combine that with the other things what I said, but I thought I would try to pass this as Chinese, but as usual, the Chinese always catch me red-handed. All right, so absolutely. But the point here is that for the wise, to be able to listen to the Dharma, it has nothing to do with understanding, nothing to do with chant, nothing to do with anything else. It's just listen once. It's not about understanding. Just listen or encounter the Dharma. Okay? Just see it. And then this life has been well worth it. It's for everyone, not just us. It's for your children. It's for great-grandchildren. Okay? Yes. Orange.
A Di Đà Phật. Dạ, con thấy sự việc nào nó cũng có hai mặt. Hồi nãy giờ chúng ta bàn tới cái hại khi mà có một em bé nó vào, nó phá phách. Nhưng mà con thì con thấy nó có nhiều cái lợi lạc cho thính chúng lắm. Dạ, xin mời cô thông dịch rồi con tiếp theo.
So, Master, I see that there are two, every coin has two faces. So we've been talking about the disadvantage of having a baby comes and do naughty things, but I see a lot of advantage to the people come here who listen to the Dharma.
Cái lợi thứ nhất đó, thằng bé này nó làm cho thính chúng sẽ không có buồn ngủ, bởi vì mới giờ ăn no ai cũng liêm diêm rồi, nó lợi nó đánh trống đánh chuông người ta thức dậy hết. Đó là cái lợi thứ nhất.
So the first advantage I see is this kid helps all of us stay awake, because usually after lunch we have a big lunch and then we tend to doze off, but then when he played the drum and then he hit the bell, whatever, he wakes all of us up.
So what's funny about that?
Cái điều thứ hai là những cái ai mà đang ngồi mà đau chân á, thì nó có thể làm cho người đó quên bớt cái đau chân của mình.
And then the second advantage is those who are struggling with the leg pain, he can help that person to forget about the pain.
Cái điều thứ ba đó là nó làm cho chúng ta nhẫn nhục, là bởi vì nếu mà chúng ta đang rất là muốn chăm chú nghe thầy giảng mà vì nó phá rầy mà mình không có nổi sân, thì đó là mình thực thi cái hạnh nhẫn nhục.
And then the third advantage, he helps us to practice the Dharma of patience, because when we try so hard to listen to Master and then he distracts us, and we have to fight against the fact that we get angry, then that's how we practice patience.
Có nhẫn nhục thì trí huệ phát sinh và chúng ta cảm thấy như là khoan dung, tha thứ, không phải chỉ trường hợp này mà trong nhiều trường hợp khác, thì đó là những cái lợi lạc sao con thấy rất tốt.
And then once you have patience, then you can open up your wisdom, and then you can embrace more, you can easily to forgive. And then it's not only applied to this situation, but then it's also applied to other situations too.
Okay. Anyone else? In the defense of the kid. Way Mountain, go ahead.
Oh, Master, I remember in Flower Adornment Sutra, Manjushri Bodhisattva say, I would rather live in the hell for millions of lives and then have one day to listen to the proper Dharma rather than living and enjoy the pleasure for those lifetime.
Why?
It was in the Shuju or in the Shu Huixiang, I don't remember.
I'm asking you, why? Why do you repeat him? Do you understand why?
No.
And why do you repeat it? You don't understand why.
I think it's the thirst of listening to the proper Dharma.
Why? Why did Manjushri, the person who is highest level of wisdom, says, I'm willing to rot in the hells for millions of kalpas, just from listening to the Dharma once, the true Dharma once. Why is that? He's lost his marbles or what? He's crazy or what? Yes, Blue.
Thank you, Master. I think it's because he had wisdom and he knew that if you listen to the Dharma just like you say, you plant the seed. In the future, it could be a year, it could be 1,000,000 years that we can become a Buddha. Then we get out of this cycle of life of suffering.
Precisely. Why are you still here? You know how long you've been here? Huh? Do you know how long you've been here? You don't know, do you? You forgot all about it. We've been revolving in this wheel of reincarnation for so long that we forgot already. That's how long it has been. When you talk about 1,000,000,000 kalpas, 1,000,000,000,000 kalpas, it's still a fixed number, yes? It's still a limited number of zeros, fixed number of time. But what's scary is that we've been doing this since beginningless time. Way, way back there. We don't even remember when anymore. When are you going to wake up? And Manjushri's point is that by listening to the Dharma once, that's the cause for you to put an end to this endless cycle of suffering. So you suffer 1,000,000,000 of kalpas in the house, is well worth it because it's a lot shorter than what we've been suffering all this time, isn't it? So the message is that it's the Dharma that liberates us and puts an end to all this suffering. Okay? So think about it, folks. It looks like we're doing nothing significant. It looks like we are simply a bunch of groupies, you gathering here to encourage the old monk to live longer. So you can't go yet. I know you're old and you're weak and you're sick, but you can't go yet. We're going to miss you so much. You stay a little bit longer. Okay? It seems like it could be nonsense, but actually the fact that we're making this Dharma available so that one day your loved ones who's suffering quietly for his entire life, he has been suffering. And somehow he says, I don't know what it is, but I'd like to go to the Pure Land. I don't know where it is. Don't know what it's like. I heard it's pretty good. That thought right there makes it worth it for us to spend all this 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years of Master Shenhua's life to tell you that there's a good place for you, awaiting for you, where you will never suffer ever again. One person does that, then all the things we've been doing is well worth it. Well worth our hassle. Not just the one person, but think about your mother, your father, your wife, your children. That's what Manjushri is saying. He says, you listen to this Dharma once. One day you believe it, and you'll never suffer again. Tell me what else on this world can do that. Please tell me. I will invest all my cryptocurrencies into that immediately. Yes? You understand? So that's why I'm so grateful to my Chinese master. He says, this wonderful thing here, the Buddha Dharma. Okay? I brought it here. I made personal sacrifices. I worked my butt off my entire life, not taking a moment's break. Never went on vacation. Never asked to go to a nice restaurant. It's insanity. I don't see how people can live like that. Can you? To do that? To make all this Dharma available to losers like us. So that we can benefit our loved ones. You know, I hear people saying, he said, you know, I owe it to you. I owe it my life to the Dharma. You know, the Dharma made me who I am today. I see hope from my family. I suffer. I know there's so much suffering in my life. And I'm glad to see that at least the ones I love have a chance to put an end to this lifetime, and not have to repeat this ever again. How's that? And to culminate it, the naughty kid has come and hit my drum. Okay? So the point here is that you look at things in a balance. To me personally, I feel it's okay for the kids to go to the house for a long time, but at least he'll see the end. All right? But for us, it's more than that. It's the lowest level. Even if you make it, you let it happen, that he's gonna. You don't know what awaiting you, boy. You're laughing now, but I will have the last laugh, boy. And it's just like the thing say, "Hey, I got you, didn't I? Yeah. Am I cute or not? Yeah, you're not even cute." So the point here is that what do you do when you're trying to speak Dharma and the kids go and he thinks he's kind of cute and then you can't tell him you're not cute. He thinks it's cool, so he keeps hanging around me, in front of me, to distract me. Okay, so the point here is that, to me, it's well worth it for all of us to be able to help people plant the seeds, you know, listening to the Dharma seeds. Okay, and it's not just him, but also for you. It's part of your training where you can embrace it. You can embrace others causing problems for you, and patiently endure it. Okay? And we're not going to the house, ultimately. Someone else is going to the house. You know what I mean? Of course, we are a lot more compassionate than the Koreans would like to believe, okay? That's why the Koreans ask, have you no compassion? That's what she means, is that, you know, you're going to let him go to the hell. Say, yeah, we will. So, yes, the Korean have, the Sunnims are correct. They should not allow this to happen. For us, we allow it to happen because we hope he won't go to the hell, so we never know, though. All right, good question. 302. Again, there are two kinds. One, using words to review it, to cause them to know its existence.
亦有二种：一，以言显示，令其知有。
Okay. Isn't that amazing what life is about? You know, we go to school, we go to colleges, we live our lives, and amazing thing is that we repeat the cycles revolving in the wheel because we never heard of something called liberation, something called nirvana, something called that we can do it. It's not as hard as you think. What does it take? You know, for example, you bear this pain and suffering, sir, it hurts so much. Is your mind more peaceful than it was an hour and a half ago? I'm asking you, look at your mind. How much money are you willing to pay for that state of peace right now? I tell you this. Don't give me a number. I tell you this. Rich people, powerful people cannot pay for it. They cannot experience this kind of peace. Because you only pay for it yourself by enduring the suffering. So, enduring suffering puts an end to this suffering from your mind of chaos, of excitement up here. Am I right? This is why we're doing this. We're doing this because you're getting something that money cannot buy. A state of being that you're entitled to, but you don't know how to make it happen. You understand that, and it's well worth it. Because there's no other way. And eventually, you outgrow this. Okay? You're uncovering your own ability to find peace and serenity in your life that only you can give to yourself, no one else. That's a small step. Reality is that other people don't even have to go through the experience you went through. And then to the Dharma told them, yeah, go to the Pure Land, where you find peace and serenity as well. You find happiness there as well. All right? 303. Again, there are two kinds. One, using words to reveal it, to cause them no existence. Okay, that's a commentary. Next, two, causing them to cultivate, awaken to, and enter its manifestation, just as in the following, breaks the dust, brings forth a sutra scroll, and so forth.
二，使其修行误入显现，如下破尘出经卷等。
305 commentary. And another reason is that once you know that it's so beneficial for you, that there is a happy place, a place where you will never suffer again. And that will motivate you to cultivate. And that's the difference. The difference between this Mahayana versus the other teaching is that the other teachings, don't tell you this place. The other teachings tell you about how superior you are, how wonderful you are, that you deserve to be successful, deserve to be recognized. You're special in all your suffering, and all your shortcomings. You're still very special. This Buddha Dharma here encourage you to know that there's a place where you never suffer, but you have to work for it. You can only get there because it must be cultivated. And awakened to. All right? And that others have done it before. You see it. I saw a live person in my teacher, Master YongHua, accomplish it, realize that. His disciples also realized that. That's why it motivated me. He said, if they can do it, so can I. Why not me? Why do it have to be for Chinese and Taiwanese only, and the Vietnamese don't get it? I said, Vietnamese can do it too. And now I'm saying, Koreans too. It's for everyone, it's not for the Chinese. So our mission, should you choose to accept it, is to make it available to everyone. Everyone. You make it available to everyone, tell everyone about its existence. In a small way. Many will do, Dharma glimpse. Cook food in the kitchen. Because people, after they meditate, they get hungry and say, oh, I'm not feeling good. Little things we do to encourage people to cultivate so that they can awaken to and experience it themselves like we did. Like Master YongHua did. All right? (307). It is also 306, sorry. As the Dharma flower says, only due to the causes and conditions of the one great matter did he appear in the world.
一如法华经云，唯以一大是因缘故出现于世。
So in the Lotus Sutra, this is a very, very famous thing. Why did the Buddha appear in the world? Why did the Buddha bother teaching Buddha Dharma for so long? It's only for one thing. Only one thing at all. And it took 50 years of his life to do it. My master took another 50 years of his life to do this, teach the same thing, similar thing, to elaborate on those teachings. And this one great matter is your birth and death. Doctors, pharmacists know about birth because they can witness it. They can study it. Nurses. But as soon as someone dies, they bury them and leave them to their own devices. Okay? Only the Buddha has wisdom and says, after you die, it matters as well. Your death prepares you for your next life. So you better learn about it. Better try to do something about it. All right? 308. That is to open, disclose, make enlightened to, and enter the knowledge and vision of a Buddha. Living beings possess it equally, and so it says, only one.
所谓开示，悟入佛知知见，众生等有，故言为一。
All right, 309. So, the Buddha came to our world, just like the patriarchs came to our world, to open, disclose, make enlightened to, and enter the knowledge and vision of a Buddha. Open what? Open our horizons. Broaden our horizons. Our mind is like tunnel vision. All we can see is very limited. So we need to open the boundaries we put in our mind. Why? Because all you can think of is for yourself. You have to awaken the fact that you shouldn't just think for yourself. It's not about you alone. Okay? So open here is to teach you about the truth of your past, or your present, and your future. The Buddha sees that. He says, you're here today because of you did those things in the past. You continue to do those things, you repeat history. Okay? That's your future. Unless you do something different. All right? So, they open our mind. Disclose. If you're interested, they will tell you. How to do it. Disclose is to reveal these secrets. So, these people, these patriarchs, their jobs, they are like the Buddha disciples. Okay, they help the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas reveal, disclose how we all can do it. Why? Because they themselves have done it. So they're speaking from experience. You understand now, boys and girls, why you must wait for you to be ready before you can disclose it? Because it's not something you pick up from a book and say, oh, just follow the recipe here. Disclose here is say, hey, you can do it this way because it worked for me and others before you. That's disclosing. It's not a sales pitch. It's revealing the road to Nirvana, the road to the promised land. Why do I feel like a preacher? So sorry. Okay? Disclose here is not a casual thing. Disclose it from your own certification, not from reading books. It's called the Buddhist sense of integrity. Have you been there? Then, if you've been there, you can disclose to us how. You've not been there, then refer them to someone else who's been there. Otherwise, you are only leading them down the wrong path. That's what I ask of you. You have a sense of integrity, you must enlighten. You follow the disclosures of the people who made it to enlighten to that, to certify to that. Okay? You don't pleasurize. You say, oh, it's so simple. Just do hand number 6. You want to understand the Avatamsaka Sutra? Just recite this mantra. Say what? Have you understood it? You haven't? Shut up. Say so. I don't understand. You hear me? There is a standard here in Mahayana where you don't teach until you have certified, have been enlightened. Okay, but once you're enlightened too, then you can enter the knowledge and vision of a Buddha. Because that is what enlightenment is about. You enlighten because you have entered the knowledge and the vision of the Buddha. Enlightenment is not just, oh, I'm enlightened. I've been enlightened. I know about enlightenment. That is a state where you actually enter the knowledge and vision of a Buddha. What does it mean? It bothered me when I read the explanation in Lotus Sutra about this. Open, disclose, awaken to, enlighten to, and enter the knowledge of and vision of a Buddha. Anyone ever wondered What does it mean to enter the knowledge and vision of Buddha? Okay, I asked myself a question. It sounds like I have to answer myself as well. I'm waiting for their bookworms to tell me what it means. Please tell me what it means. What does it mean to you? What do the books say? I couldn't find any explanation, by the way. Okay. The key is to enter. Ru! Why do you think you call Ru? Huh? Ru. To enter. The same Ru. Okay? Enter means that it's a different world. Different from the one you're familiar with. What you know is nothing. You enter through that door there. Hey kid, enter. Enter. You see? No wisdom. He stays on the threshold, refuses to enter. That's exactly what living beings do. They don't cooperate. You tell them to enter? They say no. Why do you tell you to enter? Because it's a different world from ours. It's a wonderful world where you should enter. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a sequence of steps here? Like, is Wu and Ru are like different level? Your first Wu and then Ru. Is the difference between what are the differences between those two?
All it ultimately points help you enter the knowledge and vision of the Buddha. Only one goal is for you to enter that knowledge and vision of the Buddha.
So if you're enlightened, then it's already entered. It's the same as enter.
You enter that. Enlightened people enter this knowledge and vision of Buddha. Before the enlightenment, you haven't entered yet. Let's be clear about this. Okay? And so we enter this world here called the knowledge and vision of a Buddha. What the Buddha knows, what kind of thing, what does he know? Well, it kills me why the Chinese never bother explaining this. They just, Master Shuang, you enter Ru for Zhu Jian or something like that. Okay, for Zhu Jian. Okay, now they all say that, and the Chinese, yeah. And for us Westerners, and I as a Western educated person, said, knowledge and vision. Why has it be knowledge and vision? Why can't it be like mahjong and cooking skills of the Buddha? But it has to be knowledge and vision of a Buddha. Why not? Of course, again, I find myself asking a question, answering myself, because none of you have found the answer. Knowledge and vision of Buddha. What's different about the knowledge and vision of Buddha? He knows things that we don't know. He knows what? The true nature of things. We are confused by cryptocurrency. Yes? You hear and say, why not me? That's confusion. Okay? So the Buddha, he knows the truth. He's no longer confused. And you have to enter through that door to that world. Okay? What about vision? What does he see? This is what's special about the Buddha. Again, he sees things that only Buddhas can see. He sees what? Everything. There's nothing he cannot see. That's why he describes everything in the Flower Adornment Sutra. So by studying the Flower Adornment Sutra, we get to know what he sees that no one else can. And when you have that vision, is, how can we term it? Quoting the famous celebrity there. It's marvelous. Truly marvelous. You can't explain it. All right? Boy, I sound like a preacher today, don't I? So sorry. Now it gave me an idea. We go buy a big piece of land, and we pitch a big tent, and I will preach from the big tent. Saves a lot of money. All right. Well, I have a few more minutes. Does anyone have any questions? Anyway, for you Koreans and foreigners who are afraid of, who are worried about the kid, easy going to the house, we hope not. Because there's also a sense of integrity. If we know that by doing that, he goes to the house, then you have two choices. Either you make him go there quicker and get it over with, or you don't allow it to happen. You understand? So depending on the kid, some kids will let them go to the house as quickly as possible. And some others, well, they say, it's okay. Be your naughty self. I make you pay a different way later. Okay? And so, of course, this is why my master, Master Shenhua, when he was alive, he used to allow kids to be naughty in his Buddha hall as well. Okay? So he sets the standards. He says it's okay to do it if you know how to help them. Okay? It's not a casual thing at all. So yes, I can see why the Koreans are concerned. It's correct. It's causal concern. But according to my late Chinese master, Master Shenhua, these kids who were mischievous and were acting up in his Buddha hall did not get in trouble. All right? So again, it's a sense of responsibility. You open your temple, you open your doors to kids, and you know they can go to the Buddha hall and cause problems. That's what they do. Okay? Then I think a challenge to you, monks and nuns, Sunims and both male and females, that it's your responsibility to make sure that before you open the doors to your temple, you should know how to protect those troublemakers from getting in trouble. And not just kids. They come to the temple and they see, what happened? Oh, she's gone already. They see some nice ears of corn. And they say, okay? You have to be prepared to say, you're not going to the house, I go to the house for you. Because I remember I went to a Vietnamese temple a long, long time ago. As during New Year's Eve, this is in Southern California. You don't do that kind of thing up here, I heard. Vietnamese temple, I followed my friends. I never went to Vietnamese temple. Buddhism, Buddhas, who cares? Who needs Buddhas? So I followed my friends during New Year's Eve, okay? I went to this Vietnamese temple. Back then, there's a tiny temple with 2 lots, and they have, it used to be an orchard, orange orchard. So when we got there, there's so many of us climbing on the tree and breaking down branches and grab the oranges and bring them back home and say, this as I'm bringing blessing home, and share it with my friends. I did that too. Very proud. He said, oh, I got the last orange. Little did I know, it's 7 years of hell, according to the Catholics. Okay? When you destroy the temple properties, it's a very serious offense. Could be a lousy temple, could be lousy monks, lousy nuns. You go to a way place and you destroy the temple properties, you're destroying the property of the triple jewel. Those loser monks and nuns have nothing to do with it. They open the doors and call the temple, it belongs to triple jewel. Well, the loser part of triple jewel, okay, let's face it, but still triple jewel. Yeah, you joke, you're laughing. Yeah, we have losers too in our world. Okay, many, too many to count. And so that's what people do, because out of ignorance, they don't know better. So they create mischiefs for themselves. They get themselves in trouble. So I got in trouble. But I never learned the lesson. When I became a young novice at the Sea of 10,000 Buddhas, we ate 1 meal a day. Okay? And so, come summer, there is a kumquat tree. No, not kumquat, the orange things. What do you call that? Hey. Not tangerine. Oh, not tangerine, it's too big. It's a small, tiny thing in the back of a Lu Mountain Temple in the corner. Huh? Loquat. The loquat. Very sweet, orange thing. Okay? We have one tree in front of the Tathagata Monastery. There are so many of the trees. I walk by in the morning, I said, wow, look how beautiful they are. Never tasted one before, so I was a novice. Okay? It's okay, novices don't count. We're not real, okay? And so I peeled it and ate it. I thought, oh, this is so good. And later, after I ate stomach full of things, I realized, wait a minute, did I just steal from my temple? And the answer is, yeah. And it's not just the temple, but I stole from my master's temple. Not just anyone's temple. It's Master Hsuan trees. You go to a worse hell than the typical temple. I was so worried, I admit to you. Okay? Because no one ever explained to me it's okay to steal from him. Because he knows that it's our nature to steal. If we don't take it, someone else will, right? Sound familiar? Huh? You don't take it, your neighbor will. So that's why in our Lu Mountain Temple, we have these nice long yen, I have these low quartz and everything, and every year it's stolen left and right. And there is some China people probably from Taiwan or China somewhere, 3 men, they got in a truck and they have all these tools so they can reach very high up and get all our long yen and put it in, these huge boxes. And Master Shinji came out and said, "What are you doing?" And they look at this white man here, white monk here, and says, "Nothing." Doesn't look like you're doing nothing to me, Master Shinji says. He said, "Oh no, this is not for us. It's for the Hinayana temple." It happens every year. What do? Nothing. The other option is chop down the trees. If you plant a tree, expect it to be stolen, expect it to be vandalized. So it's your responsibility because you planted the tree, because you own the tree, to make sure they don't get in trouble. Does it make sense, huh, Sunims? Huh? Do you know how to make sure they don't get in trouble? You don't? Open a temple. Don't open a temple. Open a temple for your enemies only. So in the front door of the temple say, "My friends are prohibited from entering." Does it make sense? How can you possibly say, "Oh, they're gonna go to nirvana, but until then they have to rot in the house for a while"? That's no compassion whatsoever. So that's what happened. I learned from Master YongHua. Okay, that you're responsible for the mischiefs that people create when they go to your temple. Cannot say that, "Uh-oh, are you in trouble?" All right. Any questions or comments? Okay. If not, we stop here and do rebirth transference. Thank you, everyone. Next time I have to finish the only one here. I don't like the explanation, only one here. Okay? From Master YongHua, I don't like it. Remind me I don't like it. You say I like it, and I explain the way I like it. I don't like it. You remind me that I explain the way I don't like it.